Just before dawn at NYU Hospital, Howard Cosell drew his final breath, succumbing to complications from a prolonged battle with cancer at the age of 77. It was the last of the broadcaster's lifelong battles with the sports that he covered, with colleagues and superiors, and with the press, which constantly critiqued his unique and strident presentation. That was ironic, because Cosell created the mantle of television journalist and remains the foremost example of that rare combination. Here's how he's remembered by those he touched, starting with the man who brought him to the medium, Roone Arledge, reflecting shortly after Cosell retired.
I don't think there will be another Howard Cosell. I think there will be people who do what he did, and they will do it well. But like with most pioneers, the environment will never be the same, where the mere discussion of some of these issues is deemed to be so outrageous.
I spoke to Pete Hamill about it one time, and he spoke about the 1968 Olympics in Mexico City, and he said, I knew the game had changed forever with television. We all wanted to get to Tommy Smith and John Carlos, and they all wanted to get to Howard Cosell.
No sports personality was more associated with Cosell than Muhammad Ali, who said in a statement Sunday, I hope to meet him one day in the hereafter. I can hear Howard now saying, Muhammad, you're not the man you used to be. I pray he is in God's hands. I will miss him. Howard Cosell said Frank DeFord had summed him up best when he said he wasn't TV, he wasn't audio, he was sports. Feel sorry for those poor bastards who turned down the sound while he was on Monday Night Football. They missed the game. Cosell penned his third and last autobiography in 1985, saying the time had come for it by quoting Chayefsky, I am closer to the end than the beginning. With the end having inevitably arrived, Jimmy Roberts looks back at Cosell's singular effect on the wide world of sports, television, and opinion.
He was the mouth that roared, the one and only. Any doubt, all you needed to do was ask him.
I happen to be a terribly, terribly bright man.
Raised in Brooklyn, Howard Cosell was a lawyer by trade, but a jury had only 12 people. Television offered a much larger courtroom, especially in prime time.
Hello again, everyone. I'm Howard Cosell, and it is a typically wind-blown candlestick park, and frankly, I am cold.
Monday Night Football started as an experiment and became an institution. So did Cosell. 25 million watched, not all of them happily.
When Monday Night Football first started, I used to come into my office, literally there were boxes of mail of people saying, get that guy off. And it got up to, I believe Henry Ford called Leonard Goldenson and told him to get him off.
He was different. To tolerate Cosell, viewers would need a bit of patience, a piece of conscience, and perhaps a thesaurus.
I'm always confident I whip all of them. You're being extremely truculent. Whatever truculent means, if that's good, I'm that.
Howard Cosell met Cassius Clay not long after the young Louisville fighter returned with a gold medal from the Rome Olympics in 1960. They would be forever tied in history. Two outrageous characters who helped to make each other famous. They were like a vaudeville act.
Gentlemen, I must cut that beard off because I'm not fighting billy goats. I want to give you a target. I want to give you a target.
Despite the lighter moments, first and foremost, Cosell considered himself a man of principle, a crusading journalist who counted Jackie Robinson as both friend and idol. When Ali refused military induction and was stripped of his title, Cosell supported him. He defended Tommy Smith and John Carlos after Mexico City in '68, and Curt Flood in his bid for free agency. Cosell was in fact a frequent champion of the black athlete, not always a popular position.
What is popular is not always right. What is right is not always popular. I did what I believed in, and I was unafraid. I saw myself as a person who wanted to bring to public attention that which I thought was wrong. Nothing more, no less than that.
But some saw his principles as stained by hypocrisy.
I wonder if that referee understands that he is constructing an advertisement for the abolition of the very sport that he's a part of.
Late in his career, he railed against boxing and the NFL. Some said he was simply biting the hand that fed him. After the meal was over,
One day he's the leading shill in the whole world for boxing, and the next day he's the leading opponent of it. There's, nobody changes that much that quickly. You've got to have an evolving process, and with Howard there was no evolving. He went from love to hatred with nothing in between.
I was always concerned about the health and welfare of the men who fought for a living. And I began my crusade in 1972. The record is so clear.
In fact, Cosell appeared before Congress in 1972, calling for a federal sports commission to regulate boxing. He was passionate, respected by some, reviled by others, imitated by many.
I'm sorry for this. This is a debacle. This is a sham. It should never be. What you're watching is not boxing, it's wrestling.
He was as big a star as sports television had ever seen. But as Cosell would gladly tell you himself, his world went so much further than just sports.
It's over. It's all over for El Presidente. This reporter is going to get to him if he can. We're getting through now. Here we are. Here we are. Sir, you've been shot. When did you know it was all over?
He was a celebrity, always seemingly surrounded by the like. He had his own primetime entertainment show and appeared on countless others. He even mulled a run for the Senate in 1976 until his wife put her foot down.
And then Emmy said, oh, no way. You can't do this to me and to your daughters. That press will never stop. They'll never tell the truth, they'll never stop, and I can't endure this.
Throughout his career, he had a running feud with sports writers. As a group, he hated them and was convinced that they had treated him unfairly.
Howard was very, very sensitive to what was written about him. Extraordinarily sensitive for a man who was, capable of telling it like it is, as he said about you.
In 1983, Cosell referred to Washington Redskins receiver Alvin Garrett as, quote, a little monkey, end quote. It was the beginning of the end. He was pilloried in the press. Unfairly, he felt. 2 years later, he wrote a scathing indictment of seemingly everything and everybody in sports. After his retirement in '91 and the death of his wife, Cosell became increasingly bitter.
I have absolutely no thoughts about Mike Tyson. He's finished, washed up, deserves to be, period. He's a thug.
His words, they were always so powerful. He used to say that half the people loved him and half the people hated him, but all of the people listened to him.
I think Joe is hurt. Angie Dundee, Ali's trainer, right next to me is saying it. You may hear him. Down goes Frazier! Down goes Frazier! Down goes Frazier!
This is a moment to remember as one pans the stands, looks at these people, one realizes what an athlete can come to mean to a population. And this has been a remarkable athlete, number 84, Darryl Stingler. Hello again, everyone. This is Howard Cosell speaking of sports.
It shouldn't have worked. He was everything a broadcaster wasn't supposed to be. He was regional and opinionated. His voice was strange. His looks, hardly dashing. Yet by sheer determination, chutzpah, and intelligence, he became one of the most important figures in the history of television. Simply stated, Howard Cosell was indeed the one and only.
Howard Cosell said the ultimate reason he left television was because his father had died on the road, and his family meant too much to let that happen to them. His beloved wife, Emmy, died in 1990, and he is survived by 2 daughters and his grandchildren. His funeral will be private, with contributions to the Hospital for Joint Diseases, where he died.